All right, it is Friday the 13th. Again, it wasn't too long ago that I'd done a video on Friday the 13th. I think that was centered around my fun topic of Apophis. But so the picture doesn't matter. I'm just putting a picture up. Um, Thought I'd just go ahead and do a quick journal entry, and I don't have a ton of time. We'll see how far we can get. I wanted to, on this journal, and I don't know what day I put it down. I wrote this out. School. It's about school versus. It's about this reality being a school, or is it hell? And I think it's important to clarify that when I started this conversation about hell and purgatory and this reality, it was a little bit tongue-in-cheek, you know. What I find fascinating about seeking truth and knowledge is that whenever we have a very rare experience or have that experience of discovering something new, you know, the light bulb effect, it goes off. It's like, oh, I see clearly suddenly. I get it. That ta-da moment. It goes beyond just a theory and we just have something that we understand. And that always opens a box of further questions that just beg to be explored. Seeking understanding and greater awareness just seems to be an infinite journey. I love it when I'm listening to somebody and their ideas, or sometimes even myself, and we're talking about a subject, and then almost innocently, not quite thinking, we make some offhanded statement or remark that has a profoundness to it. It's not necessarily the core component of what's being discussed. It's just an interesting notion off to the side. And when I hear such a comment, it causes me to just stop the presentation and hit the rewind button, if it's a recorded. I just want to hear the statement 10 more times, just to see if there's something that I can explore deeper there. If I can expand on my understanding, what is it that attracts me to this thing that was just said? So I'll listen to it 10 times more. And these are enjoyable moments for me. It's the pursuit of understanding, which to me has been a big deal as far back as I can remember, even early childhood. I believe at some point somebody made a joke about this being hell. I mean, even that TV show, The Good Place, is just another example. But from that notion, I have stopped to say, hold on, let's really explore this idea a little deeper. Let's get, let's dig into that and just see where it goes. And now we're exploring a concept that runs very contrary to popular belief. And I find beliefs to be very powerful things, but they can also be a hindrance to anyone who's interested in expanding their knowledge and understanding. Somewhere along my journey, I believe this started for me really back when I was a Bible major at the university. I started to realize that there's a tool to understanding and expanding my understanding. And one of this tool is to learn how to suspend my strongest beliefs, to set them aside, to not cling to them so deeply that I can't consider anything new. I understood this was the way things should be, that we can't be locked in, too fixed to any one idea. So this led me not only to a point where I could suspend the belief or the worldview. That was the word, that buzzword that I used back in college in my 20s. Worldview this, worldview that. But it's not just temporarily suspending my own beliefs. It's learning how to temporarily adopt a new idea as if it's my own, to merely for this just to try it on and see if that helps my understanding or my clarity of the idea. So over many years, I've formed a habit of trying on new beliefs temporarily, no different than if I put on a new shirt. I wear it for the day, and I can toss it back into the hamper. No big deal. The belief that I might be trying on for the moment is not, and this is the critical point for anybody to understand, that the belief that you're trying on doesn't define you. It is not you. It's not your true self. It's just a belief. That's all it is. It's a belief that you're trying on. It's an idea that you're exploring. It's never, and that said, I've never seen anything create so much hatred among people, so much discord, than differing beliefs. And wouldn't that be an essential, just along the lines of if this is hell or purgatory, wouldn't that be essential as part of its design patterns? That we are desperately seeking to understand new things and understand new truths, and yet the path to doing that is to be open-minded and to consider new things, and yet in the path of trying to do that, we find ourselves in great conflict with those around us just because of that. I mean, to me, that would be a hallmark of what purgatory might be. We practically need, and this is something that holds true too, is we almost need a contrary position to help test or work out flaws with our own beliefs and the things we're trying to figure out. People taking a contrary position can also be seen and looked at, or are often looked at, as the enemy, rather than very helpful co-wanderers that they really should be considered as. And when you think about it, people kill and they torture one another over opposing beliefs, taking just a moment to consider that this place might actually be hell, might not be entirely foolish. Before we ask the next questions such as, so what are we supposed to do now? Before we do anything like that, we should just stop a moment and try the belief on, like a garment, temporarily. Explore it for all the valid supporting and contrary ideas that come from it. I think it's the book The Art of War, which it's been a long time for me, and if I'm wrong, tell me, but I think it was in that book where the author of the book is talking about the need to love his enemy if he wants to defeat them. He has to love his enemy to defeat him, which sounds very counterintuitive. But this is kind of true when you're trying on beliefs. You have to adopt it. And when I truly try to understand a contrary belief, when I really try to adopt it, that's when I can really see its weaknesses just more clearly, if they're there. It helps me put on a different set of lenses, and I can understand an opposing idea much better when I learn to embrace it and kind of love it, just like in The Art of War. Just to continue a little bit further, this idea of embracing an opposing idea, to the idea of wrestling with contradictions. Something does emerge, and it's this process, and it's a process that's not comfortable. And the concept that this might be hell or purgatory, that concept is not comfortable in any way. It's not one that I prefer. But there's benefit in the process of this reflection. Maybe hell isn't just a place of constant suffering. Maybe it's some sort of place of testing. Maybe it's a crucible where our beliefs are burned down to their core, where attachments of different things that we have attached ourselves to, they get stripped away. We're forced to confront uncomfortable truths. So, the contrary nature of discovering truth might not be a byproduct. It might be the whole point. The friction, the discord, the endless arguments, they might serve as a way to shape us. So this could be considered a school, but it's, the jury's still out on that idea. But I try on new beliefs, like the idea that this is purgatory or hell. I relate it to my own life around me and all the craziness of it. I explore the contradictions or the contrary ideas. I wrestle with them. And, what better place than hell to do that? To discover what we are or what we might be. All right, so I'll end it on that. Journal entry for today, Friday the 13th. Have a good one. God bless.